Apologies for the wait there, everybody. It's time to get down with the goodness because I think I've been looking forward to this particular volume for quite a while. And I cannot wait to read more Hunter x Hunter for all of you. It is a great momentous day. Sorry for the stream being pushed back to about 1 o'clock because still locked in with Warframe, and I was trying to get this specific prime part that I needed, which was the Magnus Prime barrel for me to make the Ack Magnus, but also have enough parts left over so I could still have a singular Magnus. Got that. Got that. And now that's pretty much the reason why we're starting at 1, because I've been on a major Warframe kick lately. So apologies for my lateness. But also, new update for Borderlands 4 as well. You know what? It's probably best if you hear all of this while I'm speaking to you. Yo, peoples! Kyushu92 here with more Hunter x Hunter. But yeah, Borderlands just released a new major update, which makes it so that we get a photo mode. There's been changes across the board to make playing on Ultimate Vault Hunter mode way more lucrative and such. But overall, I have been looking forward to this, but there's a lot of things for me to enjoy today. So I can't wait to read through today's volume. We're going to be going through volume, Kitty, good to see you. We're going to be going through volumes 26 of the series. Wait, let me double check. I had it on the right one, right? Yep, volume 26. Okay, I just had to double check. But we're going to be going through volumes 26 of the series, which has chapters 271 all the way to 280. We are getting dangerously close to clearing a... Dude, yes! Yes! Okay, so here's the thing, real quick. Borderlands just also showed their brand new roadmap as well. So, in February, we are getting the next bounty pack called Legend of the Stone Demon, which will essentially be the same as like the first bounty pack that we all got, which had Rush and how Rush saved Mercenary Day. In March is when we get the first major story DLC pack that also brings cash. And I've been looking forward to cash for a while. So this means that February is essentially crunch time for me to get all these characters to level 50 before cash shows up. So the only character I have to level will be him. So I cannot wait. Having cash drop in my birthday month? Thank you. If they drop it before my birthday, it will be like an early birthday gift for me. So having cash drop in my birthday month, that's already got me hype. So, but for now, let's focus on Hunter x Hunter because the fighting has gotten serious. In the last volume, we had Gon and company finally infiltrate the palace, running into UP first, the big hulking, almost scatterbrained member of the Royal Guards, with Poof still lamenting as to, but you gotta put Warframe down. I know! But the boosters are telling me to keep farming. I have over 200 organ cells. Someone who's an expert in Warframe asked me, why do I have that many? I said, I'm preparing for the future. But Yuppie is the first person encountered by Gon and company. Sorry, I gotta get off of video games, otherwise I'm just gonna keep focusing on that. But Yuppie encounters Gon's company first, and they immediately start fighting. All the while, Netero and Zeno, Netero being the chairman of the Hunter Association, and Zeno being, okay, I need to be quiet because this is supposed to be about Hunter x Hunter. You're fine, kitty. You know I like messing with y'all. You know I do. But Netero and Zeno basically make the first move, causing this gigantic cavalcade, this gigantic volley of dragon-shaped arrows and dragon-shaped bullets, dragon-shaped projectiles to rain down on the palace where the king and his royal guards are, and this just shakes up everything. Yuppie starts fighting everyone, and seeing as how Yuppie is capable of changing his shape exponentially faster, he is literally the only thing keeping everyone from getting to the upper floors where the king is supposed to be. Netero and Zeno get to the palace first, get to the throne room first, before Pito does. A lot of stuff happens, but basically what we have here is Netero and Zeno are walking with the king to go elsewhere because Komugi, the girl that the king was playing Gungi with, she's been injured. Pito has been left behind in order to tend to Komugi's wounds. As Netero and Zeno go off with the king to have their fight, Poof is fighting Moral, ensuring that Poof doesn't interfere with anyone else. Yuppie is contending with Knuckle and Melioron, and Killua as well. And Gon, after being directed by Chairman Netero, apparently is going to be going in the direction of where Pito is. So a lot of people's fights are apparently being locked in. So the chapters we're going through, once again, for anyone who skipped the intro, and I don't blame you if you did, because when it comes to video games, I can go a mile a minute, so apologies for that. But the chapters we'll be going through today are chapters 271 all the way to 280. Once again, like I said, we're getting closer and closer to 300, and after 300, I'll be within, and after that, I'll be 10 chapters into catching up to Hunter x Hunter as a whole. So let's begin with chapters 271, Separation. So it shows the top-down view of where everyone is. And it shows Zeno and Netero following the king out of the area, while Killua has apparently followed to where Gon is and notices that Gon is looking extra serious as Gon is heading in the direction of where Pito is, apparently. And then the king speaks to Zeno and Netero. Take me. I am fully aware that you are trying to accomplish your goals with minimal human casualties. You created this chaos to separate me from my royal guards, did you not? I care not. Take me away. And then Zeno just charges up Nen in his hands, and it goes, Dragon Head, and creates an entire dragon out of Nen. And then narration, with Netero going, he's something, all right. They both realized that the king instantly knew that this move posed no threat to him. Zeno did not infuse his Nen with even the slightest mischief. Was it out of respect, or... And then he just charges it forward, and the dragon launches into the air away from the palace. Apparently, either 18 minutes or 18 seconds have gone by. I want to say 18 minutes. I want to say 18 minutes, if I'm reading this clock correctly. One number, then two numbers, then two numbers, then two numbers. I hope I'm reading that right. If I'm not, my apologies. But Gon and Killua see the king and the chairman fly off. Killua. And then Killua looks at Gon. Pito is over in the left tower. Let's go. And then without a moment's hesitation, Gon jumps over to where Pito is supposed to be. And then Killua was just thinking, let's go. Killua suppressed the urge to ask which is it. He knew if Gon answered, it would mean his choice would be set. If I ask, there's no stopping it. And he jumps after Gon. There's no going back. If only he could ask, everything would be out in the open. It was one of those critical lines in the sand that, once crossed, sets the course of your destiny forever. Fearing that if he did so, he might lose something dear to him, Killua was unable to utter a word. And then we cut back to Yuppie, who's fighting Shoot 10 seconds before the dragon took off. And Shoot is fighting Yuppie. And Shoot looks like he's suffering some injuries while punch after punch is landing on Yuppie and himself. On Yuppie and Shoot, obviously. Shoot's reckless charges without fear for his own life ironically helped him survive longer. Hotel Rafflesia. In exchange for injuries that very well could have been instantly fatal, Shoot took a single eye from Yuppie's shoulder. The physical damage was close to nil. Ooh, this is his nen ability. Ooh, interesting. But Yuppie found himself unable to fully let loose. The odd sensation that the eye was taken, not destroyed, had a great effect on Yuppie's psyche. He took a step back due to the series of mysterious attacks. I can't let him get any closer to the king! Their objectives happened to coincide. But this intended development was in turn tormenting Knuckle. I was about to say Knuckles. Like, what is this? The Weird Adventures? The Weird Adventures of Flapjack? Flapjack? What is this? This intended development was in turn tormenting Knuckle. Endure it. I can't strike. Not now. If I engage him now, I would basically be giving him proof that there's another enemy around. Mind you, Melioron and Knuckle are both still hidden because of his Melio's God's Accomplice ability. Mind you, they're only invisible because Melio is holding his breath this whole time. Yuppie fought with increasing caution while his attacks gradually whittled Shoot's life away. Covered in blood, Shoot was taking the brunt of Yuppie's ruthless assault. Endure it. Knuckle could only watch from the sidelines. He was fighting his own battle just to stay still. He kept saying in his mind, "Tough it out. Please hang in there. Hang in there." And he starts crying. And yet, he was not able to stop the flow of his tears, as Knuckle can only stand there watching his friend basically being beaten up right now. Then we cut to the outside when we have Bloster and Cheetu. From the doors on both sides emerged Cheetu and Bluster. Welfin saw Flutter and slipped out of sight because he sensed something was amiss. Something was off. That was quick. Two soldier ants saw an enemy, sent out a warning, then immediately died. The intruder who killed them turned back. The time between that and Flutter coming down the hall was too short. Flutter and the intruder must have passed each other. Sorry, eyebrows. Then why were the two peons killed, yet Flutter was spared? Flutter is on their side. He's a traitor. Huh? Flutter? What's going on? And it shows Flutter basically at the doors because, reminder, Flutter's body is being controlled. Sir Pito Zen is gone too. And time is ticking. Is he acting alone, or did Hagia send him? I just got back myself. Seems to be an enemy attack. For real? I can't imagine anything else. Hey, your wings. Oh, yes. They got me just now. You going down? Yes. Sir Hagia's orders, you see. What should we do? Well, it's not like we were told to defend the palace. Yeah, but I want to try out my new ability. Cheetu is so bent on trying out his new ability, more than likely against Moral, but Moral's a bit busy. But all of a sudden, there's this overwhelming, massive explosion that shakes the palace. Whoa! A big one. And then it starts to subside, and Cheetu runs off. Wow, sounds fun. Time to join in. Be careful. I'm gonna take a look around. I'll be off then. Sure. And then Bloster leaves Flutter behind. But Welfin is watching. Welfin is watching, but then Bloster and Welfin come to the same conclusion. Sir Hagia? Because Flutter probably wouldn't have called Hagia that. That isn't like a cough. That is like a dry throat cough. I haven't had like the heavy, wheezy cough in a minute, and I feel so good about it. But they both say, Sir Hagia? And that's the end of chapter 271. Onwards to chapter 272. You know me, I gotta change the thing. Doot, doot. Doot, 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 doot. Chapter 272, Error. And we have the, APR, Knuckles' ability.
It's time. You've accrued interest.
What the? Only 10 seconds? That's it? No way! How much longer do I have to endure this? It feels like I'm suffocating inside an Iron Maiden. It's taken all my willpower not to run away. You've gotta be kidding me, right? This just can't be real. And Knuckle keeps saying this internally as he watches his friend still fight Yuppie. And then Knuckle gets beside himself and he just starts bolting towards Yuppie. I can't take it anymore! But then Melio taps him on the shoulder. Taps him on the shoulder twice. Remember what that means? I forgot. Thankfully, this chapter tells me. Melioron's first signal stopped Knuckle in his tracks. What? But it's only been 10 seconds! Though maybe this saved me. He did not do it out of concern for Knuckle. Melioron himself could not hold it anymore. And all of a sudden, one of Yuppie's claws manages to graze Knuckle just a hair. And Knuckle immediately jumps away. Oh, crap. That claw barely nicked me. And most of my first punch plus interest was paid off. Yuppie noticed neither scraping against something nor APR's announcement. Here's Shoot sacrificing his life, and me unscathed making a careless mistake. Nor Knuckles' yell. So he audibly yells out, possibly giving himself away. But he runs away. But thankfully, Yuppie is way too concerned with trying to fight Shoot right now. Calm down, idiot. Don't make it worse. Far enough away to not get caught, but close enough to go back in easily. Shoot's got his attention. He'll notice APR, but it shouldn't matter. So catch your breath, Melioron. And then Melioron breathes out. God's accomplice, terminate. Then Yuppie immediately notices APR next to him. What's this? When did this show up? No, there's no way I didn't notice it before. It suddenly showed up just now. Was I attacked? No. Something on delay? That must have been that first thing I felt. Or did it fulfill the activation conditions during battle? What's this number? A countdown? Is it a bomb? No, the number's not changing. And Yuppie's just utterly confused. Oh, hold on. I didn't notice. Let me see my chat, please. YouTube. Let me see my chat. I can't see it on my phone because I just have the web page up here. Making homemade kimchi stew and homemade blackened chicken ramen. Ooh. That sounds delicious. No, the number's not changing. Oh, screw it. Just get rid of the source. And all of a sudden, Yuppie drops down, and then we start seeing things appearing on his back. Something's coming. Must get away. One reason Yuppie had not already crushed Shoot, even with his overwhelming power, was an obvious difference in talent. And it shows Yuppie basically crouching down and causing an innumerable amount of spikes to shoot out of his back straight towards Shoot. Yuppie had not already crushed Shoot, even with his... One reason Yuppie had not already crushed Shoot, even with his overwhelming power, was an obvious difference in talent. He's too fast. I can't escape. One shish kebab, coming right up. And then some fists start flying through the air, and they come and they hit Shoot right in his shoulders, causing him to fly out of the direction of the extra long. Like, bruh, how are you even standing up with all these spikes sticking through your entire body? He flies away from Yuppie's back before he gets skewered. He hit himself to propel himself backwards. Oh, well. The feeling that he could win at any time. Oh, wait. Oh, well. The feeling that he could win at any time bolstered Yuppie, who wasn't the strategic type to begin with. That was close. Yuppie was, on the whole, correct. This was indeed a battle he would eventually win. If there was an error in his thinking, it was his failure to realize that Shoot was fine with that. I can still fight. I can go on! I can still fly! Yet slowly but surely, Shoot was approaching his limits. And while he's saying this, it shows Shoot just flying through the air, body completely bruised all over from everything that he's been doing. And he kind of has this sort of, what is it? Euphoric look on his face. The same way Gojo did when he realized his true potential when fighting Toji. It's literally this instance. Yuppie! You bastard, I'm over here! And Knuckles screams this out loud. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I've taken a pause. He just screams this out. The whole point was for him to be hidden. Knuckle! I'm sorry. But then Yuppie and Shoot just stare at Knuckle just standing in the hallway looking at Yuppie. The conclusion Knuckle came to once he had calmed down was that he should show himself. Meanwhile, Melioron is still hidden. Revealed to the enemy there's another one of us? Fine with me. That would distract Yuppie and save Shoot. Come here, punk! I see. This is yours. Knuckle was, on the whole, correct, if there was an error in his thinking. And the chapter ends without us finding out the error in Knuckles' thinking. Also, didn't even notice, but Shoot's leg is broken. That's the reason why he's flying on only one. I thought his leg looked a little bit weird, but no, this Joker's leg is broken. Because I'm pretty sure legs are not supposed to bend in 4 places. 1, 2, 3... No, 3 places, 3 places. Even so, it's not supposed to bend that way. Legs are only supposed to bend 2 ways. At the hip and at the knee. That's it. But that's the end of chapter 272. Onwards to chapter 273. Change. Doop, 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 doop. There we go. Chapter 273. We meet again. And we cut away from Knuckle and Yuppie over to Moral and Poof. And mind you, Moral has surrounded the area in smoke, so Poof has no way of getting out. Was the act of confining me the right choice? I wouldn't mind finding out. Butterfly dust. Nove said it has a hypnotic effect. I can't breathe it in. And then Poof just starts walking. You stopped talking. The right choice for a decent warrior. Vigilance, resolve, and confidence. In a ratio of 2, 3, 5. Not much vigilance is an indication of his confidence. He has a strong character. He may be behind enemy lines, but the sense of relief from luring me into his trap outweighs the rest. That's his emotional matrix. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Shia Poof, a royal guard to the king. Spiritual message allows Poof to read his opponent's psychological state by diffusing butterfly scales into the surrounding air and making the aura flow distinct. He analyzes the blend of 30 emotional patterns apparent in the aura flow, and from that he can infer his opponent's thoughts. The swirl of vigilance grows stronger. Heh, so you won't even tell me your name? Because Moral hasn't responded. If you think I'm trying to trick you into breathing in the scales, it's a tragic misunderstanding. I'm rather hurt. Nothing more. And then Moral's just watching as Poof starts to surround himself in his own wings, as if he's cocooning himself. I won't even remember when I'm reborn. Please wait a moment. And then Poof just weirdly starts laughing to himself. It's one of many's favorite meals. Yeah, any more than that, and there's some technical difficulties going on. Yep, right. If he wants to take time, sounds good to me. No matter what he turns into. I know I keep moving my mic, but I want to sit up straight. And we cut back to Flutter. The elevator to the basement can be descended by anyone, but a code must be entered to go back up. Each person has a different 8-digit code so that usage can be tracked. If a mistake is made, a siren goes off and the door is locked. A repeated error alerts the security guards, and the elevator is filled with sleeping gas. The person is arrested and tortured to death. And then Flutter's just looking around as he gets out. A computer keeps records, and Bizef closely monitors when, how often, and for what purpose each code is used. Any suspicious behavior and the owner of the code is punished. No excuses. So everyone treats his code as he would his own life. Marcos only gave his own code to Moral as his flight out of the country was about to take off. Satellite dragonflies! And then dragonflies just fly all over the place. Because remember, this isn't actually Flutter, this is Icalgo! Icalgo only knew Palm through data given to him, but he resolved early on that he would not leave the palace without finding her. I'll find her and bring her back! Palm is a friend of my friend's! That means she's my friend! Palm earned Icalgo's respect just through the fact that she was risking her life. It's not about mission or duty. I want to save her! There's a lot of narration in this apparent chapter. The elevator was equipped with a security camera and a scale, and after going down and confirming that it is empty, it automatically goes back up. To go upstairs from the basement, only one person may ride the elevator at a time, and if the weight significantly deviates from the data provided by the code, the alarm goes off and the elevator becomes a simple detention cell. And it shows someone going towards the elevator, and it's Welfin. The only people with codes that allow them to use the elevator without these restrictions are Bizef and Marcos. This is because they bring in various classified objects, including people, and it was easier to use this elevator than the freight entrance, which is guarded by soldiers. And when Welfin steps inside, he immediately holds his nose. What's the stench? Was Flutter living in a morgue? Anything else? I smell Bluster, who went down before me. There's another faint scent, but... The smell of Flutter's rotting corpse, a few days after death, dulled Welfin's sense of smell. Right, because this is a dead body that Icalgo is using. If Blaster went downstairs after him, did he notice Flutter said Hagya too? Or is Blaster in on it too? Was Blaster watching me while I was watching them? In that case... You prefer narration in a manga versus multiple characters in a monologue over what is going to be happening when, what is going to happen, what did happen, and what should have happened, which is why I describe everything despite not showing images. That's my way of narrating. In that case, Blaster must have noticed that I noticed how awkward Flutter was. Then the reason why he went down first is... he's waiting to ambush me! What is that smell? Oh, it smells like burnt food. Hold on. This, I need to check. All is well. It's just the smell of hot dogs made its way into my room. It finally made it up here. All is well. Sorry about that. All is well. We're all good. Blaster must have noticed that I noticed how awkward Flutter was. Then the reason why he went down first is... he's waiting to ambush me! And before Welfin can even open the door, he's already getting nervous with these fake scenarios that he's made up in his head. Ah, this is my chance. Flutter's fishy for sure. I could set him up as the perpetrator of the bomb threat, solidifying my value to Bizev. Bizev! Where's Bizev? Uh-oh, if he died in this attack, the whole thing is ruined! I have to find Bizev first! And Welfin, going off of these made-up scenarios in his head, immediately thinks, oh, I need to find Bizev in order for my plan to work, because I don't know if any of this is true. Literally super paranoid right now. Don't worry, everything's fine. I just had to double check But then we cut to Gon and Killua, and they land, but they stop because old man Zeno is here without Chairman Netero. Hey, Grandpa? And Zeno just looks at his grandson. My job here is done. I know nothing besides the mission. He's changed. And Zeno can tell that Killua's changed just by looking in his eyes. You make the call inside. The call? He held back everything else he wanted to say, and Zeno disappeared into the darkness. He literally just took the dragon and the king and Netero someplace, and then he just came back. Then we cut to Gon, who walks into the building, and in front of him is the doctor, the Nen doctor of Pito, as it's taking care of Komugi. And Gon sees Pito first, and his eyes just get livid as he's staring at the person that ruined Kite. And all of a sudden, the whole area changes. The whole room shifts as Gon's aura just fills the whole room, and Pito is looking like, Do you remember me? And Pito kind of glances over. My name is Gon Freaks! I came to see you to restore Kite! And that's the end of the chapter. Oh, this is going to be the volume. This is going to be the volume when it happens. This is going to be the volume when it happens. Oh my goodness. I have been looking forward to this specific moment in the manga ever since I started reading through this series for all of you and myself. I've been looking forward to this. But that's the end of chapter 273, onwards to chapter 274. I think we're making pretty good time right now, don't you? I think so. Chapter 274, Solution. Pito was oblivious to any of Gon's words. In his head, every brain cell was working furiously towards finding a solution to this crisis and carrying out the king's orders. So, to Pito, Gon is just saying gibberish, because all Pito can think of is,
I must protect Komugi at any cost.
And Killua hasn't said anything. Is just looking at Pito.
That's odd.
Killua, observing from a step back, noticed the abnormality.
Why, with the enemy right in front of him, isn't he preparing for battle? He doesn't even have an aura around him. He might as well be naked. He's completely defenseless. Does he think he can beat us anyway? Even without aura? No, that's not possible. Gon has a totally different kind of aura than before. Not even Pito would stand a chance in his mortal frame.
Because it shows that Gon is the only one with his aura active. Angry aura.
Then what? Is it the distance? Does he think he has enough time to activate his Nen and counter Gon's attack at that distance? It's possible, but why doesn't it look that way? Yes, he looks like a mother protecting her young.
And this facsimile of a cat is, like, shown right in front of Pito.
As if he's giving his life to protect someone weaker. How could this be? That's not in his nature. But then why did Grandpa say, "You make the call inside"? Why was he so cryptic?
While Killua desperately struggled against his intuition, Gon's eyes reflected the girl lying there. But what he really saw was Kite being dismantled. And Gon gets angrier. And he grips his fist and he goes,
Get away from her.
And he starts walking towards Pito.
I said get away from her and take that monster with you. And then fight me. Fight me so I can make Kite whole.
And then Pito does something that bewilders Gon. And Pito kneels down and holds his hands out. Turning his palms upward was all he could do to show he did not mean any harm. Killua knew this.
Please, wait a while.
And this angers Gon even more.
You've gotta be kidding me! Why the heck should I wait? Get up! Step outside!
With Pito's unexpected submission, Gon did not know where to direct his anger. But Killua was starting to understand what was going on.
I know nothing besides the mission.
And this is Grandpa Zeno.
He meant there was something unexpected. Grandpa did a blind drop of the dragons. His job was probably to use Dragon Dive and Dragon Head to separate the king from the guards. He didn't know she was here. This woman is the one whose existence none of us predicted. She's again probably the reason the king hurt himself. And why did he exhibit such bizarre behavior? It's because she means something special to him. She's not being harmed right now. She's being healed, On the king's orders.
Very perceptive of Killua.
Pito's healing ability doesn't just preclude En. He has to focus all his aura to use it.
Killua was painfully aware that all this would only have a negative effect upon Gon.
What am I supposed to do? What should I say?
And Gon starts walking towards Pito. But then Killua goes,
Gon. I beg you! I'll do anything you ask!
and this is Pito.
So please, wait. I have to save her. At any cost.
And Gon is just like, he's so furious that just the notion that Pito wants to save someone instead of kill them is just so confusing to Gon.
Save? What do you mean? Anything we ask? You mean Killua? I'm asking him.
Whoa! Oh, there's so much anger behind these words.
What's that supposed to mean? Save her.
Komugi's life depended on his power. Pito did not know what to say. In this extremely tense situation, the answer Pito chose
She is someone precious to a person I care about deeply.
was to tell the truth.
The king became who he is because of her. If she ceased to exist, he won't be himself anymore. She means that much. All I want is for her to live. After I heal her, I'll do whatever you want me to do. So, please, wait.
Gon, still upset.
You want to save her life? Is that it? You of all people want to help someone?
And Gon.
Oh. Huh. How can you say that? It's not fair!
The inner conflict was too much to bear. He was in a valiant struggle against himself, without any idea how even how to fight.
Darn it!
And that is the end of chapter 274. Onwards to chapter 275. My goodness, this is getting tense. Oh, the suspense is killing me. I hope it'll last. I don't have any popcorn to eat. Chapter 2. That was the end of chapter 274. Onwards to chapter 275. Chapter 275. Promise.
Darn it. Why should I? Why should I do what you say?
And Gon gets closer.
Gon! Wait a second! That girl got hurt, probably because of us, from Grandpa's dragon dive. And?
Gon said, and
It's also likely that Pito is really healing her. So, let's wait until she's fully healed. Probably. Likely. We're basing things on maybes. We can't even be sure he'd do what we want after we wait. Probably? Maybe? How do we know? The heck with that! This isn't a guessing game! Are you crazy? How? How can you believe what he says? We can't trust him!
Gon is so upset right now. And then Pito breaks his arm, which catches both of their attention.
If you so desire, I'll break my right arm as well. If that's not enough, I offer both my legs.
And Gon is just looking bewildered, like, where was this mentality when you did what you did to Kite? Like, that's Gon is just confused by this sudden need for fealty. He literally got stronger after all this time just so he can make Pito heal Kite. Which is, I mean, it ain't happening, Chief. I'm sorry. Kite is beyond saving.
If you think I won't keep my promise after I heal her, you can mangle my body as long as it doesn't hinder the treatment. I beg you. Let me do this. Please, let me save her.
And Gon is just racked with indecisiveness. Like he doesn't even know how to feel. And then he just slams his hands on the ground, which breaks the ground. Well, might as well say floor. Breaks the floor, and he's just upset.
It's not fair! It's not fair! Why just her? After all you did to Kite! Gon! Why? Why?
And Gon is just screaming that the aura just sweeps past Killua and sweeps past Pito. And then Gon is just crying.
Why should I?
And then Gon's aura is just around him. And then he starts getting in the stance.
Show me Gon! If you kill him, Kite will never be whole again.
And then Gon hasn't left that stance, but the Nen hasn't. But the Nen looks like it's still he hasn't lost his stance, and the Nen is still in his fist.
Sure, you're fine. You can stay calm, because this has nothing to do with you.
And then Killua doesn't say anything.
I'm only telling you because you're losing it. Have you forgotten what you said in the beginning? You have to get Kite back! Get a hold of yourself!
And then Gon stops. And then he calms. Well, it appears that he calms down, but apparently his eyes say very differently.
Yeah, I'm fine now.
But Gon's eyes, they're not back to their regular black like they are with the shine. His eyes look like they're hazed over, like the blackness of his eyes, of his pupils are just hazed over. And then Gon steps in front of Pito.
How long must we wait?
And then Pito is looking at Komugi.
It will take 3 to 4 hours to heal her body completely.
No, I can't wait.
If I can have 1 hour, I can stabilize her enough that she'll survive. Please, I beg you.
And then Gon looks at Pito and goes,
In 1 hour, I want you to go to Peijin with me and fix Kite. Do you promise? I do. I promise.
Then Gon comes over and he squats down in front of Pito. And then he sits in front of Pito and goes,
I'll wait right here for 1 hour.
Like literally directly in front of Pito, he just sits down and just stares Pito. Just gives him the death stare. And Pito has not stopped sweating during this whole conversation. And mind you, the door to get into this area is open behind Gon. And it just shows like the open doors behind Gon. And like this big open door and like the smoke coming through and the wind is howling in this room. And it cuts to Kite, who is either sitting on his legs or he no longer has any legs. Body mangled, hair unkept. And it just shows Gon in like one panel. And that's the end of chapter 275. Onwards to chapter 276. My goodness. Ooh, I did not expect this much emotion from these chapters. Chapter 276, Missile Man. And we're back with Yuppie. We're back with Knuckle, Shoot, and Melioron. And Knuckle has already revealed himself. And then we have APR.
It's time. You've accrued interest.
It went up. And Yuppie goes to slap away APR, but his limbs come back with recoil rather than slicing through it. And then he tries to bash APR all over the place, but it does nothing, as APR is just childishly floating in the air, looking all cutesy as if nothing happened. My attacks don't affect it. What is this thing? And then Yuppie pays attention to Knuckle, who's walking off to the side. Don't you run away! Answer me! What is this? And he tries to swipe at Knuckle, but Knuckle jumps away. As if I tell you, you crazy jerk! You'll have to catch me to find out! I always substitute curse words with different words. And Knuckle runs up the stairs away from Yuppie, who turns one of his arms into like one big massive arm as if he's about to smash the stairs. And he does indeed smash the stairs, while Melioron and Shoot just watch. Knuckle's gonna fight him by himself. I can't possibly reach him through that deadly onslaught. In that case, not too fast, not too slow. Walk so I can consume the minimum amount of oxygen. And Melioron immediately goes invisible again. And it shows Shoot, who's wobbling after basically suffering this entire onslaught from Yuppie. And he falls face first on the floor. I can't pass out. Ultra-Rafflesia will stay active as long as I'm conscious. Any minor wound will surely not be in vain. I can still keep going. And while Shoot is he's literally trying to crawl in the direction of where Knuckle and Yuppie went with the one available limb that's still fine. And Melioron reaches out towards him. I can't do it. I can't say it to him. Shoot has already given his all. I can't tell him to keep fighting. And then Melioron just runs off because he doesn't want to ruin the resolve that Shoot has for himself. What should I be doing now? It's not helping Shoot. Use my ability to assist the others to complete the mission as fast as possible. Don't you die, Shoot! Hang in there! Live! And he says this with tears in his eyes as he runs to handle other things. And then when he gets up to the top floor, he goes, nobody's here. Don't panic. Look around. I can still pass as an ant even if I'm spotted, but some of them might not buy my excuses. Deactivate! Perfect plan! Hold on, I need to check something real quick. All right, pardon me. Just answering back to family. There we go. Deactivate. Perfect plan. And then he's just breathing. Okay. Catches his breath. Activate. And he goes invisible again. And he's just looking around all over the place. Moral Smoky Jail. That means Moral and Poof are facing off one-on-one in the throne room. That leaves Gon and Killua. But where? Where are they? Which way did they? And he lands in front of an open door. And he sees Welfin. He sees Welfin. And Welfin's out around with him, but he doesn't notice that Melioron's out. Welfin! Oh no! I can't hold my breath any longer. Do I run for it? But which way? What if he goes the same way? Can I wait for him to pass? Can I hold it? This one's trouble. Out of all of us, he's the biggest skeptic. Once he suspects you, he'll never trust you again. No, I can't hold it anymore. I'm about to blow. And he's having a hard time keeping his breath in, and then he jumps away before Welfin starts sniffing for him in order to get out of line of sight. Breathe out fast and hard, and immediately taking a breath. Deactivate! Perfect plan! And breathe in! And then Welfin immediately notices. Activate! And then he goes invisible again.
Huh? For a second. I swear I felt someone there. An enemy?
Welfin's ability strongly reflected his personality. It was suspicious and sly, and it's literally like a rocket launcher pack on his back, but it's like bone and animal motifs.
Egg on your face, Missile Man.
Oh, that's the reason why this chapter is called Missile Man.
Egg on your face, Missile Man. You hiding behind the wall? Surrender and come out before I count to 3. Or else, I'll attack. 3, 2, 1.
Welfin, I don't think you understand what counting to 3 actually means. You count it to 1. You count it down from 3, not up to 3. When a person says before I count to 3, that means you're going to count the numbers that go to 3. You're not going to count 3 and then move backwards. Hold on, family's calling. But yeah, Welfin, if you're going to count to 3, actually count 1, 2, 3. Don't say 3, 2, 1. I think you got it backwards.
3, 2, 1. Fire!
And he fires off 2 volleys, and they go right around to where the wall is. But there's no explosion.
Not there. Did I imagine it?
Melioron was already gone by the time Welfin sensed his presence.
And yet, an unscented deodorant. You can't fool my nose.
Welfin's Missile Man has 3 steps. 1. Choose a target. 2. The bullet is loaded with a question or an order. 3. If the target lies or defies the order, the attack begins. If Melioron had stayed, the attack would have played out whether Welfin could sense him or not, but it misfired because the criteria were not met.
Someone was here. I know it. I only felt it briefly because he was that good.
Once activated, Missile Man follows its target until it hits its mark. There are no survivors from its attack.
Since he's using a deodorant, he knows about me. There must be a traitor among them. Is there another one besides Flutter? Probably.
Getting paranoid again. But Welfin did not consider his ability to be invincible.
And it must be someone I know. That's why he used deodorant. He doesn't want to fight? Who is it? Can he kill me at any time?
Welfin was even suspicious of his own ability. He only thought of Missile Man as a negotiating tool.
Am I even on the right side?
He only wanted to be the king behind the scenes, since a true king would have more worries than he could tolerate.
What is with everyone?
Yopi?
Is he having trouble? What should I be doing? Is finding Bizef really the best thing to do now?
While Welfin was questioning his true goals by the front entrance to the central staircase, Melioron has already made it to Killua.
Melioron?
Gon's cry had led Melioron to Killua. And apparently 2 minutes have gone by already. And that's the end of chapter 276. Onwards to chapter 277. We only got a couple more. Man, lips are mad chapped. I apologize, everybody, but you're probably just listening to this in the background anyway, so don't even think about it. Chapter 277, Insult.
Okay, we should be fine here. Give me an update.
Deactivate God's accomplice. Shoot's out of commission, and Knuckles fighting Yuppie by himself. You gotta help.
Knuckles' so-called plan is to buy time by running around.
Oh wait, Knuckles' so-called plan is to buy time by running around. It's insane, I tell you.
All right. How many seconds can you use God's accomplice?
I only lasted 10 seconds at first, but I've calmed down now. I can go a minute if I don't have to move.
That's plenty. Okay, that's plenty. Give me one shot.
About 3 minutes, 5 seconds before the exchange, Knuckle was in the air. Knuckle thought his best asset was his quick getaway, as Yuppie is basically destroying a portion of the palace to try and get him. And while he tries to use his hands to grab onto him, Knuckle still dodges. Once he punched out a cop to help his friend escape and spent all day and night running from 4 patrol cars and 2 motorcycles. And this was the day he graduated from elementary school. He never got caught. I'm sorry, what? What? You punched a cop in elementary schools? In elementary schools. You punched a cop in elementary school and you never got caught? And you were chased by 4 patrol cars and 2 motorcycles? He ran like a gazelle. Whereas a cheetah tires quickly, he was able to maintain his top speed for a long time. He revealed his presence in order to save Shoot and focused his strategy on keeping his enemy distracted. Knuckle was, on the whole, correct. Because Yuppie, he's staring back at Yuppie, who's just standing in the smoke from all the destruction he's caused. And then he goes back into the smoke. He doesn't chase Knuckle, he goes back in.
Yeah, he's not coming after me. Uh-oh, Shoot's in danger.
If he made a judgment in error, it was in his assessment of Yuppie's perception of the situation. Yuppie was a vital target for Shoot and Knuckle, but the reverse was not quite true. The royal guards were there to protect the king, and their main mission was to keep enemies away from him. Yuppie assumed the king was still in the throne room. Since he was assigned to keep watch over the staircase, he also assumed Pito and Poof were currently protecting the king. Therefore, Yuppie's priority was keeping the enemy away from the throne room. The number of enemies was unknown. An escaped enemy and a dying enemy were no longer threats, warranting attention. Their abilities plaguing Yuppie did not matter for the moment. Shoot was alive. It was clear Yuppie had seen Shoot when he passed by.
Out of sight? Out of mind?
Yuppie did not care whether Shoot lived or died. An unprecedented insult to them both, who were risking everything in this battle. And Knuckle is absolutely livid.
Are we not worth the effort? Are we nothing more than gnats to him? Fine, you'll regret it later, when those gnats make you go bankrupt in about 10 minutes! Where are you? Hey!
And this is Yuppie in the background.
Moral's using the smoky jail in the throne room, so he's facing off with Poof. Then the king isn't there. Go guard the empty room, you moron. I'll take Shoot to safety, then sit back and enjoy.
And while Knuckle is holding on to Shoot and just helping him move, Shoot goes,
Darn it.
When Knuckle realized his error, he had already made another. Yuppie's eyes had met with Shoot's. Shoot must have figured he was done for. Oh, wait.
Yuppie's eyes had met with Shoot's. Shoot must have figured he was done for. We knew death was a possibility going in.
In contrast to the calm analysis of the previous moments, Knuckles suddenly felt the most frustrating anger of his life. He imagined Yuppie's expression as he glanced upon Shoot and went downstairs. Knuckle also realized his new error.
And he ignored him. Can I simply walk off like this after my friend was insulted? Darn it. For what? For the world? For humanity? Even if we succeed, would I be able to shake Shoot's hand? Would we be able to celebrate for a job well done, knowing my friend had been insulted?
And mind you, while he's thinking this, it shows Yuppie before Knuckle got down to get Shoot, it shows Yuppie walking back through the palace. And he's glancing over, and he's still walking, and he glances over at Shoot, and has this look of utter disdain and just like indifference to Shoot that he just walks away from him. Insult!
I can't do it.
And then Knuckle just drops Shoot.
Unreal. Oh, sorry. While I'm at it. Sorry, but you gotta stay here for a bit longer. I haven't faced that bastard head on yet, and pounded his face in. I promise I'll lay in one for you too. I know I should be trying to stop Knuckle. Are you crazy? Just by time. That's what I should say. Please, Knuckle. That bastard. He looked at me like I was dirt. That jerk. Get him for me. Yeah! Leave it to me! I'm sorry, Moral. We're a couple of idiots.
A new error. The significance of ideals.
Some things are more important than the world.
And then it cuts back to Yuppie trying to break through Moral's smoky jail.
My attacks don't affect this smoke either. Sire! Pito! Poof! Hey! You in there? Where are you? Hey!
This voice may get me if I'm not careful.
Is that Yuppie?
And mind you, it's cutting back to Moral.
Is that Yuppie? Did those two get killed? I hope the old man is doing well. Why doesn't Poof answer? How can he stay in his cocoon for so long? You'd think he'd be rushing to the king's side. Did we miscalculate something about these guards? Is the plan going? Don't second guess. Focus on my own mission. In the right direction?
And then Poof from inside of his cocoon is still keeping an eye on Moral, going,
suspicion, anxiety, impatience. Despite the swirling negative emotions, the ratio of his conviction remains unchanged. The emotional profile of an admirable warrior. But that will inhibit your decision-making.
And Poof continues to try and break through the smoke, but it doesn't work.
Why can't I feel Pito's in? Why can't I feel Pito's in? Did they all vanish? Was I left behind? What the heck happened? What's going on?
It's time. You've accrued interest.
Oh, shut up! The black fuzz on my shoulder won't go away. This thing keeps counting up. I gotta find the king. Oh, I should have killed the guy downstairs to get rid of the fuzz. But find the king first.
And then then Yuppie starts scratching his hair a whole lot.
What the heck? Why am I so irritated?
And then it shows Knuckle a distance away from Yuppie as he just goes,
Yo.
and then Yuppie snaps at him, looks at him with teeth bared and anger vein on the side of his head and everything. And then Yuppie just screams out loudly, "What is it with everyone?" And that is the end of chapter 277. Onwards to chapter 278. Okay, so the moment I thought was going to happen in this particular chapter, I don't think it's actually going to happen. It might actually be the next volume. The moment I thought it was going to happen in this volume, it might happen. I think it's going to happen in the next one. Chapter 278, Destruction. At the same time as he bellowed, Yuppie changed form. That was enough of a metamorphosis to get Knuckle to instantly turn to flee, even though he had been ready to accept the worst. This was the embodiment of pure evil. And clearly, it sought only total destruction. Because Yuppie basically transformed his entire upper body into a giant, muscle-bound, like disproportionately large body, upper torso with muscles that just basically envelop his entire body. And he smashes the ground, and the entire ground just caves in from Yuppie's enlarged arms. And it demolishes the entire tower at its foundation. Even Welfin can sense it. Whoa. And Knuckle manages to get away while also grabbing Shoot as well.
Suck it up!
Did you, give him one for me?
Not yet, darn it! I promise I will, though, but I can't let you die before that, so we gotta...
And before he can even finish the sentence, this light starts to envelop the room, and it shows Yuppie's body looking like it's becoming incredibly large and engorged, and looking like it's on the verge of exploding. Yuppie became aware, by being under extreme mental stress for the first time in his life, that the true nature of his ability, and apparently Yuppie does blow up and he takes the entire tower with him, was not useful for guard duty. He felt his whole body and his ends swell, engorged by his furious rage. The unleashed destruction was accompanied by great pleasure. Then, as he rapidly deflated, he was overcome with a great sense of loss. And Yuppie's just standing in the smoke. Yes! And this is Knuckle going, yes! Having had more experience, Knuckle understood what had happened to Yuppie.
What a blast! If I triggered it again on purpose, would I survive? Am I pressing my luck? High risk, high return. Is it worth it? Make him mad so he explodes. It'll create a window for me to strike. The aura consumed in the explosion will reduce the time required for him to go bankrupt.
The plan Knuckle instantly envisioned was close to perfect for defeating Yuppie. But Yuppie proved his worth in the moment after the blast. Between the lingering pleasure and the numbing despair, Yuppie was striving to figure out how to utilize this self-indulgent ability to better benefit the king. He must detach himself from his ego to serve his master. The instincts of an ant and his nature as a magical beast functioned calmly even after the discovery of his explosive emotions.
The best way to serve the king is to control this fury without being consumed by emotion. This will lead directly to eliminating these pests.
Yuppie was now armed with both passion and presence of mind. The risks for Knuckle were high. And then it cuts to Zeno, who's by himself. Oh, Lord. I fear for Cheetu. Not Zeno. I don't fear for him at all. Because Cheetu decided to mess with Zeno.
I really wish you wouldn't. I'm not in the mood.
Aw, come on. Don't say that. Your luck just happened to run out today. Be my guinea pig. For my new ability. And then Zeno just looks at Cheetu with disinterested eyes. You don't have to look that upset. I'd rather fight someone else, too. Sunglasses, huge pipe. He's one of your friends, right?
Then go look for him.
I found him already, but it's no use. He's locked up inside his smokescreen. I can't get through it all. I wanted to get a better view, so I climbed the roof and spotted you.
Then I'm just a warm-up before your real target.
Ding, 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 ding! And then Zeno, who clearly might be disturbed and bothered by this statement, just goes,
I'm tired. Hear me out. For the first time since I took over the family business, I may have accidentally killed an innocent by...
My ability's amazing. Don't let it knock your socks off. Well, it will anyway.
Sheesh. How self-centered can you be? I suppose I can't ask you to let me pass.
Ding, 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 ding! And then Zeno doesn't say anything and just goes,
behind you. You should be careful.
And then this gets Cheetu's attention, but he doesn't take his eyes off of Zeno. Ha! That's such an old trick. I ain't falling for that. One of your friends taught me never take your eyes off the enemy during... And Zeno just simply turns around. Because right where Cheetu is jumping towards, he immediately gets hit with something. Like something massive.
Well, looking wouldn't have helped you anyway.
Because the one who bodies Cheetu? I forget Killua's dad's name. Because the one who bodies Cheetu was Killua's dad. And Cheetu's dead. Cheetu's dead. His feet are just up in the air. They're bent at weird angles. His head is flatter than the ground he was on. And then Killua's dad speaks. Should I have let him live?
Nah, don't care.
How was Killua?
He grew up. I think he took out Illumi's needle.
I see.
Oh yeah, I had a weird experience. It felt like time was condensed, see?
I should take your stories with a grain of salt. And on a big old dragon, both Zeno and his son, both Zeno and Killua's dad just fly off. And that's the end of chapter 278. Onwards to chapter 279. Chapter 279, Escape. Moral's smoky jail protected the third floor of the central tower so it was not destroyed, but it was blown to the left of its original location. It was precariously balanced, only just maintaining its structural integrity. The rest of it was a pile of rubble reminiscent of an ancient amphitheater, in the center of which was Yuppie. And Yuppie hasn't said anything yet.
I am but a lowly servant who wanders in search of prey. beside myself with rage. That's what I'll make them think.
And then Yuppie just screams out loud.
Where did you go, you rats? Come out! Come on out! I'll crush you! And he will come out. To take advantage of me before I self-destruct.
It's time. You've accrued interest.
Ah, shut up already!
While Yuppie yielded himself to this false rage and stormed around to lure Knuckle in the throne room. We cut back to Moral and Poof.
No matter what's going on outside, I have to keep him locked up in here.
That should be the right answer.
That should be the right answer.
Then we cut back to Poof's cocoon. Microscopic bugs, about 100 trillion in number, small enough to slip between the particles of smoke. In intervals imperceptible to Moral, were slowly but surely escaping from the smoky jail. And then time continues. And then we cut to, apparently, the basement of the palace, and a layout of the basement of the palace as well. In the basement north of the palace, a group of warehouses spread out in the shape of a dragonfly. The tip of Wing D was the warehouse Bizef misappropriated to keep his women. And it lists what all these different wings are. Wing A is the armory. Wing B is the national treasures. Wing C is the dictator's personal warehouse. Wing D is the emergency provisions. Area E is the dictator's emergency shelter. And Area F is the security place for the security personnel. Marcos had told them where to go. Now Icalgo drove through the 5-kilometer-long tunnel in a truck. By the time Icalgo saw the forks for Wings A and B, a satellite dragonfly had reached the destination first.
The door's open! This is a good sign! Palm has drugged Bizef and headed to the palace! It's likely Bizef went after her and forgot to lock it in his haste. Now I won't have to destroy the door with weapons from the armory, which is risky and time-consuming.
But the door is open, and while he's driving there, one of the dragonflies sees Bloster come out of the door. The satellite dragonfly stationed by Area F saw Bloster. Bloster walked for 50 meters down the long path towards Area E and then stopped. For Icalgo, this meant a confrontation with Bloster was unavoidable.
Bloster is suspicious of me! Why? Did I make a mistake? Stay calm and think. What could he have noticed? I have to survive!
And that's when Icalgo puts the brakes on the truck.
Did I say something wrong in our exchange to make him suspect me? Was anything awkward in my disguise? I suppose the excuse that Hagya ordered me to go to the basement did sound unnatural. But he didn't question me right away because it wasn't conclusive. It's only caused a faint shadow of a doubt. Bloster came down to confirm if his doubts were accurate. Will I be able to talk my way out of this? Or was it a serious enough mistake that he only needs final confirmation? I can't be optimistic. I should assume the worst. Is anybody
here? I have been sent by the director.
I should anticipate an attack, depending on his response or attention. Or I'll end up dead.
I've come on orders from Director Bizef. Sinkerbell, Palm's alias. Sinkerbell, I need you to come with me at once.
There are never any messengers to Bizef's warehouse. It was code to Palm that he was an ally. And then Icalgo goes into a room.
If you were here,
Why didn't you answer? Is anyone with you?
I don't know about the others. Director Bicep forbids us from venturing out or having contact with anyone else.
She thought this was Bicep's test of her loyalty. The other four felt the same. A messenger did not make sense since there was a direct phone line Bicep used to contact them. They interpreted this visit of a strange creature as a test of their ability to remain unaffected by bizarre circumstances and follow protocol. They refused to talk to Ikalgo. But this was fine with him.
Here!
They had better chances of survival if they stayed put. And then Ikalgo starts using Gyo around his eyes. Ikalgo had neither the time nor the energy to spare worrying about or protecting others.
There it is! Nan writing!
The note secretly written with aura can only be read with Gyo. Bicep might have found any notes left on paper or a machine.
I'm going to the palace. If there is no contact by the time of the attack, assume I'm dead!
Ikalgo knew this would be a possibility, but he still felt like he had lost a part of himself. Now, 5 minutes after they had stormed the palace, Palm's role had ended. If Palm is dead, or in equivalent circumstances, use the satellite dragonflies in your telepathy to provide backup to the ants. Pretend you're giving status reports to your superior, but inform Meliaron instead. A mixture of truth and lies will confuse the enemy. It's crucial to the mission. And this is Moral saying this to Ikalgo beforehand.
This would depend on the assumption that Meliaron and I haven't been discovered as double agents yet. Then, since Bloster is starting to be suspicious of me...
Ikalgo, while trying to focus on his mission, knew part of him hadn't given up on Palm's rescue.
I have to take him out! At all costs!
And then it cuts to a light. It cuts to a light in the distance, and Bloster is just standing there while Ikalgo drives up to him.
Hey, did you finish your job for Hagya?
Yes, pretty much.
Hagya, huh? Doesn't he get mad when we call him that?
And then there's silence. And then next thing we see is Bloster immediately trying to attack Ikalgo. And he just blasts the side of the truck, causing the body of Flutter to fly out the side.
There! So much for the imposter!
And then Bloster goes to the back of the trailer and opens it.
Empty? Oh well, I'll ask Hagya later.
And then Bloster starts to walk away. And then as it gets quieter and quieter, Ikalgo, having slipped out, is underneath the truck.
Now they think the suspect is dead. Once Bloster informs the others, I can move freely. But I never heard that Hagya changed his name. What is it now? Would they have believed me if I had said that, even if I was telling the truth? I should come up with an excuse in case I cross their paths. No, it's no use. Bloster wasn't wasting his breath with any questions before he attacked. Anyone who doesn't know Hagya's name change is automatically branded an enemy. If they catch me upstairs, I better be prepared for a showdown.
And it shows Bloster getting in front of the elevator. Please input your passcode. And Bloster is looking confused.
The elevator isn't going up. Did he come down without knowing about the ID numbers? A perfect opportunity! There are two choices!
And that is the end of chapter 279. Onwards to the last chapter of this particular volume, chapter 280. And then I'm gonna have me some Chinese food once I'm done. Yes, sir! Chapter 280, Direct Hit. And we cut back to the surface where it has both Shoot and Knuckle sitting near some ruins while, Yuppie is trying to draw them out. And Knuckles looking on while Shoot is barely conscious. And Yuppie is still ranting and raving while Knuckle goes,
It's been almost 5 minutes since activation. The aura debt will soon reach 7,000. Will he be able to pay it all back at once? If only I can avoid a direct hit. The worst case scenario is if the hit is big enough to terminate APR and hurt me. It would be far better to wait it out for him to go bankrupt. But that means I have to wait around doing nothing for more than 10 minutes. I don't think Shoot will last that long. I have to make him explode one more time, or else it'll be too late. Shoot will end up dead before this ends.
and then Knuckle just runs out. And Yuppie notices.
Hey, you, freak. Well, just who I wanted to see, you little maggot. He fell for my trap, my performance of fake rage. Make this blasted thing shut up! I can picture your annoying face every time it warbles. Come on, I can explode at any time. Or just pretend to. Oh, he'll come at me right when I swell up before exploding. Or just pretend. He'll come.
Oh, sorry. I'm reading again.
Come on, I can explode at any time. Or just pretend to.
It's time. You've accrued interest.
Ah, shut up! It's so annoying! He'll come at me right when I swell up before exploding. But if I keep my cool, I'll be able to control it. I'll use that opportunity to take him down. Take it off right now, or else I'll kill you! I'll obliterate all of you pencil necks! It ain't happening, scum, 'cause you're the one going down. The next interest announcement will be my cue. I'll show you who's really the maggot.
And it just shows Yuppie just standing there with an anger vein on his head and just smiling angrily. And right when APR announces, Knuckle rushes towards Yuppie, who is already causing his body to become engorged, preparing to explode again.
I can do this. Perfect timing. I'll punch his face not once, but twice, and still get away in time before the explosion. Take this, you pig. The first one's for Shoot. Oh, what the heck. The next one's for him, too. It's weird, though. I don't even like him that much before. In fact, I thought he was kind of annoying. Since when did he become my best bud in my mind? Why am I so worked up to get revenge for him? Actually, he's not even dead yet. But going through life or death crises together is a big factor. Risking your lives together automatically makes you pals. But then that bastard goes and insults him. How dare he ignore someone who puts his life on the line in battle? Hasn't he ever heard of the Warrior's Code? You darn ant! Alright, I'm getting really pissed. 3 punches, including one from me. Hey, wait. Isn't this the quickest thinking I've ever done in my life? I'm in the middle of my punch and I thought of over 150 words so far. Huh? Hey, isn't this that thing they say where time feels like it's going slower? Right before you die?
And right when it looks like Yuppie is about to explode, he shrinks back down to his normal size.
He stopped swelling without the explosion?
And Yuppie's just smiling.
He got me. He kept his head the whole time. I can't stop now. Shoot. Sorry. I failed.
And then when it looks like Yubi's about to hit Knuckle, I have to go downstairs to grab my Chinese food that's apparently done. Let me grab that, and then we'll continue and finish this chapter. Thank you for your patience, everybody. I'll be right back. I'll edit out this pause. I'll edit out this pause. Got some honey mustard to dip the egg rolls in. Oh, I got me a good lunch right now. Let's continue. But right when Knuckle is preparing to punch Yuppie, Yuppie reduces his size and goes back to normal, but enlarges his one fist.
He stopped swelling without the explosion?
And then it just shows Yuppie smiling.
He got me. He kept his head the whole time. I can't stop now. Shoot. Sorry, I failed.
And then when it looks like Yuppie is about to land a solid hit on Knuckle,
This'll be way more than the interest. I'm done for. Shoot. Moral. Everyone. I'll leave the rest to you.
Thunderbolt! And out of nowhere, Yuppie gets zapped by Killua.
Ah!
And Knuckle getting knocked out of the stupor of thinking that he was about to die, manages to land a solid hit on Yuppie. And that's the end of the chapter. Volume 26, we meet again, end. Okay. That first hit was for shoot. Okay, this was a good volume. This was a good volume. This was a good volume, everybody. This was a very good volume. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This was a good volume. Now, here's my thing. I was expecting that confrontation. You already know, the one that took up a great deal of emotional vocal range for me. I thought that fight was going to happen in this particular volume, but it looks like, no, it's not time for that one yet. Not yet. So we still have a ways to go before we get there, but we will be covering that next Thursday. Yo, Kitty! Also, did you see my food? Did you see my food? Good food! Oh! So much rice with chicken and vegetables, teriyaki with some noodles, and egg rolls with honey mustard sauce, and a Sprite as a drink. But I'll make a picture. I'll send a picture to the Discord. But we made it to the end of yet another Hunter x Hunter chapter. No. Oh, you haven't? You haven't? Hold on. Hold on. Ba, 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 ba. You know how models are always telling you to smile with your eyes. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. And I'm gonna be messing with Borderlands and Warframe. Didn't you dip someone is home? That is a valid reason to not. That's a valid reason. That's a valid reason. But let me just say this. All that to say this. It looks amazing. I know. I'm gonna eat good, and it's piping hot. I literally just came back upstairs with it just to finish this chapter, and I'm so glad this is the last one, so that way I can eat. But ladies and gentlemen, we had yet another wonderful volume of Hunter x Hunter. The story is getting so much more intense. Gon is sitting in front of Pito saying, I'll wait 1 hour for you to heal her so she can survive. Then you're gonna come with me to heal Kite. Pito is absolutely terrified. Zeno is done with his work. Netero is off with the king somewhere. He and his son have basically done away with Chitu. Chitu didn't even get a chance to show off his new ability because Killua's dad just came in and flattened his skull in. Not only that, but Killua has come in and allowed Knuckle to land a solid hit on Yuppie, allowing APR to gain even more interest, despite Yuppie trying to use this as a means of killing Knuckle, because Knuckle was apparently seeing his life flash before his eyes. But because of Killua's Thunderbolt, it gave Knuckle that opportunity. So this is going to be an interesting fight indeed. I cannot wait to read next Thursday's chapter, because next Thursday will be the first reading of Hunter x Hunter in February. So I can't wait to do that for all of you. But while my food is still hot, I'm going to call it a session here. I may do a session later, but that'll be later depending on how I feel. If not, then we'll just pick up with Code Vein tomorrow once I grab the game and set everything else up for my big series covering the game. But I'm done for today, ladies and gentlemen. It is time to eat. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for sticking around. And all I can say to you is, hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. Like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, because I am always looking forward to entertaining. Like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Even check out the Patreon, because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. And because I know you're coming back anyway. Have a fantastic day. And once again, as always, later, peoples!